Yay, I'm on. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here tonight. I know there's a lot going on in the world and you could be many different places, but I'm so happy you are here with me. I am going to be talking about time blocking tonight and going over some templates that I created. I I'm watching myself in the live on a delay and it's very confusing. So, but I want to be able to see your questions. So if I get a little flustered, that's why. Anyway, I've come to find out that a lot of people don't even know what time blocking is. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about time blocking and what it actually is. What it is when you schedule your tasks on your calendar, when you set aside specific time to work on the report you have to send out or the emails you've got to send out. It's it's where you assign those tasks to a specific time. So it sounds like it might be kind of easy to do, but there are quite a few steps that go into it. And we're going to walk through those steps today so it's not so overwhelming. Hi, Erin. Good to see you. So the first thing you need to do when starting to work with time blocking is, I feel, to set up a time map. And that is where, instead of assigning your time to specific tasks, you're theming your time. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see, that might take me just a second. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen, and right now what we're looking at is the time map to my ideal week. I've got it zoomed out so we can really see that there's different segments to each day. But I developed this based on my priorities. And there are a couple of ways you can determine your priorities. The first one is to go to an online assessment like Michael Hyatt. I don't know if you've heard of Michael Hyatt. He is the person who created the Full Focus Planner. It's what I use to map out my year and my quarters. He has a life score assessment, so you can see how you're ranking in different aspects of your life. Another one that I love is another way to determine your priorities is these questions from Lisa Montenero. Let me find them real quick. Okay, I hope y'all can see that. Let me flip back over to, it's going to be delayed, so I won't know if you can see it or not. Anyway, so another way to set yourself up to finding your priorities is to ask yourself these questions. These were developed by Lisa Montenero. She's a business coach and speaker in California. And she presented to the NAPO Austin group about, goodness, 7 years ago, I think. And she listed these questions in her presentation, and I felt like it really allowed you to explore what you're passionate about. Like the question, I am never late for. If you're not late for something, then you really are excited about being there. Maybe you're even showing up early. When is it easiest to meet the deadlines? Is it when you have focus and quiet? Is it when you're working with people and collaborating? Things that I easily delegate. The things you want to give away, let's not put those in your time mapped calendar, if at all possible. I know a lot of us are on a budget, and I personally can't afford to outsource much, but some of those things that we really dislike and take so much of our energy away, we might need to not schedule that in our day and delegate it out to someone else. So I'll let you guys take a second just to read through those questions and see if it helps you to kind of tease out your priorities. I'm going to see if there's any, nope, nothing on the chat yet, so that's good. I am going to go back to the time mapping template. So we've talked about priorities. What are the benefits of time blocking? So there are a couple of different, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. There are a lot of benefits to time blocking, but one of them is something called Parkinson's Law. Now, this law states that the work will expand to fit the time allotted to it. So say you have a report that's due or a presentation, and you block out 4 hours to work on the report. Well, the likelihood that you're going to allow interruptions during that 4-hour time, if the report only really takes an hour to do. So if you've planned 4 hours, it will expand to 4 hours because you're allowing interruptions to come in. If you had only scheduled an hour for it, you would have focused and gotten the work done because that's all the time that you had allotted for it. The other one is a fun one to say. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. And that is that we tend to remember things that we have not completed or done more than the items that we've completed. So it's really, really, really important to make a list of the things you've done, because at the end of the day, you might feel dejected that you weren't very productive, when in reality, you may not have been focusing on the tasks you set out to do, but you still got a lot done. So that's more of a prioritization issue than a effort issue. The other thing that time blocking does is it reduces decision fatigue. So if you are pre-planning when you're going to work on things, when that time pops up and you're like, oh, what do I want to do? It's there for you. This is why I like time mapping, even if you don't get nitty gritty down to specific tasks within your time map, giving yourself the foundation to know that I'm going to increase the size of this. Oop, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Now I got to find where I go. There we go. So here's that time map to your ideal week again. And I've made it bigger so you can actually see the categories. Like reach out to pipeline. I may have specific tasks that I do during that time, But even if I'm not scheduling them during that time, I have an idea of what I'm going to work on. So that's reducing the decision fatigue. I know I just glance at my calendar and I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday morning. I'm supposed to enter and review my financials. You don't have to think about what you're doing anymore. So time blocking also decreases interruptions. We kind of talked about that with Parkinson's law, but it's if you have time blocking is like setting an appointment with yourself, and eventually you become more used to setting those appointments and honoring those appointments with yourself, and your productivity soars. It helps you commit to your priorities. Once you go through the process of making setting your priorities, making your task list to see if you are actually in sync with your priorities, your time map is going to show you what you don't have time for, what you don't have focused energy for. And you can decide at that point, okay, these things do take more priority over what I am working on now, and you can adjust your time map. It helps you balance important and urgent tasks. It's really apparent when you're trying to schedule your day what is going to take priority, what's due sooner, what needs to go out to more people. And then it helps you to know how long tasks are going to take. If you've been blocking out, let's see, I've got 10 to 11:30, an hour and a half blocked out on my time map for reaching out to my pipeline. If after a couple of weeks, this is only taking me 45 minutes, then I can adjust and I found some time in my day. So these can be estimates at the beginning, but as you work through your time map, you'll find out how long things are actually taking you. So we talked about what is time blocking, how to set your priorities. Now I really want to talk about listing it out. I want to go back and say, hi, Melinda. If you guys want to ask questions, I'm checking back every once in a while to see if there are any questions. So feel free to ask me to explain more. So now we are talking about listing it out. Another way that you're going to really see what your priorities are and where your time is going is to list out your tasks on a piece of paper. You can do this on a piece of paper. I'm a paper girl. I'm really digital, but I like to plan on paper, and then I switch everything to my digital calendar and my digital time task management solution. So what I like to coach people to do is to do to download their brain. I've switched my terminology on that. So it used to be brain dump, and now I don't like that. You're going to download your brain. And as you do that, you can use colored pencils, you can use markers or highlighters, anything that will help you categorize your like tasks together. And this is going to fit in with your priorities. So you know what your priorities are. You can see your categories from your task list, and this is going to help you build your time map. The other thing, it's okay to have subcategories too. Like on my time map, I have self-care and self-care, family time, and business. Those are the three categories I am most passionate about and want to make sure I find the time for. But I have subcategories within there. Like in my business categories, I have curating content, creating content, my financials. So you can have subcategories. I don't recommend using too many because tracking that will just get very difficult, and it will get hard to track and remember what color goes with what at a glance. So the point, what we're trying to do is make your schedule easy to see at a glance where your energy is going to focus. Okay. The other part of this is we need to determine when you are most productive. Is that in the morning or in the evening? You can do this by creating a time log. So writing down all of the tasks that you accomplished during the day, where you spent your time. It's really easy to do, not easy to do, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you can do it in Excel or Google Sheets. Just really quickly write down the general categories of what you were working on. And then have expand on that to how you felt doing it at that time of day. Were you able to complete other tasks later in the day, or did it zap all of your energy? Were you foggy? Was it harder to complete the tasks in the morning, and at night you have another surge of energy? I personally am most productive between the hours of 10 and about 11:30. And then I have to take a little break, and then I can go from about 12:30, 1 o'clock until 5, and I'm good. And then I get another burst of energy about 8 or 9 at night whenever my husband's settling in to watch TV. So it's really important to know what type of task you want to work on at what point in the day. So now I'm going to go in and share my screen again. And this time we're really going to talk about this time map template. Screen share. And that is right here. Okay, so what I did on this, the first thing you do when you want to start your time map is you block out your knowns. So I know that I am asleep from 12 a.m. until 7 a.m. during the weekday. I sleep until at least 10 on the weekends. I love my sleep and I will not get up earlier on the weekends. So then I have a morning routine, and I have actually created a checklist for my morning routine that I follow, and I have timed it out to be about an hour and a half. I gave myself 2 hours on this one because I think I'm tweaking it a little bit. But I blocked out all of those cells, and let me show you how I made it look so nice. There's this really nice feature that's called merge cells. So it groups all, you highlight the cells you want to merge together and click that button. If you didn't want to do that, you could type in morning, oh, my fingers don't want to work, morning routine, and then actually carry it down into each time block. One thing I forgot to talk about was you do need to determine how big you want your blocks to be. I personally am a fan of the 15-minute time block. I feel like there are a lot of tasks that can be completed in 15 minutes or less. I have read that Elon Musk actually does 5-minute time blocks, which is just mind-blowing to me how he can keep track of that. But some people use 30 minutes. I've seen people use an hour. So it really depends on the type of task you're doing and what you feel most comfortable with. So you can, once you get this template, you can make a copy, and you make a copy of it by going to File, make a copy, and then you can edit the sheet and make it all your own. I also have a routine for my workday shutdown, and I have an evening routine. This has made my life so much easier, just knowing what's coming next. I can look at my planner, I can look at my Trello board, which I'm going to show you in a second, and really determine what needs to happen when. So that's a little bit on the time map for your ideal week. There are different tabs down at the bottom of the template. So we're on the example time map. There is a template that's blank. Don't forget to use to name your your colors, your categories. I made the mistake once of formatting this spreadsheet beautifully. I had it color coded. I forgot to write down my key and I couldn't remember what any of my codes meant. So please do yourself a favor and make your key. The other tab is how to use the template. I kind of go over some of the basic formatting options so you can make it look pretty and not necessarily have to type into every cell. So after you get your time map done, you're most likely going to want to put it into a calendar so you can track how you're doing with scheduling to your time map. You're not going to live to your time map every week. It's rare that that's going to happen. This is something that we strive for, but we have to be able to roll with the punches because life happens. So we're going to have to reframe and shuffle and reprioritize. So once you get your framework done and you've got everything color coded, you might want to go into Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar. You can create a new calendar called My Time Map, and then toggle it on and off. So it's not living on your main calendar, confusing your appointments. That can get a little cluttered and make it hard to actually see what you're doing. So the next thing we're going to go over is the Trello template I created. And what I did was I have a task list, which with the template, there's some extra reading, some stuff about me, what services I offer. You can feel free to delete those if you want, but what this area is for is to really create your task list. So you would have task number 1, and we'll say that it's in the marketing category. Or creating. So you can list out all of your tasks here, assign categories to them. Assigning categories is really easy once you create the card. You just click that little pencil, and then you can, they call it labels in Trello. And so edit labels, and you can see I've already set some up. So this is business for me. I can label it like that so I know where it matches in my other categories. So first thing you're going to do is get all your tasks in there, kind of group them together if you can. That will take some dragging and dropping. And then theme your days. So this is how I used to do all of how I would complete all my tasks on certain days. So I would have Marketing Monday, I would have Financial Friday. I can't remember what the other ones were. It was so long ago. So I would try and get all the tasks done on certain days for certain categories, but I found that I wasn't able to keep up outreach with my clients, and my social media had to be dealt with daily. So that's when I really got into the idea of time mapping. So with this, you theme your days still, because that will give you a guide as to what your time map blocks are throughout the rest of the day. So my daily theme for Monday is outreach. I'm asleep from 12 to 7. I do my morning routine, and I even included in the routines what my morning routine is, or evening or workday shutdown. So you can adjust this to fit your own routine. You can make new checklists. You can do whatever you want. I also have a workday startup routine. This is all in the Full Focus Planner. It's really helped me a lot, just stay on track and stay focused. So then reach out to pipeline. I do project work from 12:30 to 5 p.m. and then I shut down. I have my family time, webinars and social media from 8 to 9, and then I start my evening routine. It's pretty much the same for the rest of the days. If you want to edit these cards, so say you get up at 5 a.m., you just click on the card and edit it. So 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. is sleep for you. So that's how you edit the individual cards to match up with your time mapped schedule. So I just took from that Excel sheet and transferred it over into Trello. And then when you have your task list, let's see, creating is Thursdays. So I can take my task number 1, creating, and drag it to just under create and schedule social media. And then that way you can stay on track with your day, and that's how you use Trello to time map. I'm going to delete this card because I don't want it on the original template. So how do you manage your schedule? I mean, like I said, life happens. You are going to, oh, let me check real quick, see if there's any. Nope, but people are still watching. Thanks for watching, everybody. So let me get back to the Trello. So how do you manage your schedule? If something changes in Trello, it's so easy to just drag and drop and rearrange. If you're using something like Outlook Calendar or Google Calendar, it gets a lot more difficult to, I think, see all your tasks at a glance and know how to prioritize them properly. That's why I've moved to auto schedulers. And because the auto schedulers can reshuffle your schedule based on your priorities, your due dates, what you've marked as high priority. So it's managing your schedule can be very time consuming with time blocking and time mapping. But if you go digital and consider auto schedulers, I think it makes the process a lot easier. One of the things I do for my time blocking before I use the auto scheduler was I would plan it out. This is opposite from what I said before. I usually plan on paper, but sometimes when I'm going to rewrite my time block schedule in my paper planner, I rearrange everything on the computer in Outlook, and then I copy my schedule into my planner. So I won't have to keep erasing and rewriting. I do have fabulous erasable pens though. I think they're called the Friction pens by Pilot. They're amazing. My only caution is that in this Texas summer heat, the ink will disappear if your planner is left in the car. But magic trick, you put it in the freezer and you get all your writing back. So there's my helpful tip on that. I'm going to have a little sip of my bubbly. So I think that about covers it. That's the templates, an overview of the templates, how to do time mapping, what time blocking actually is, and the benefits of it. I am going to be presenting soon at, I thought I had it up here, at a time blocking summit. Here it is. It's coming in March. It's the first weekend of March. And there are some amazing speakers. It is geared toward people who know about time blocking and who are trying to up their time blocking game. But I think it's going to have a lot of great information for beginners as well. Francis Wade is the organizer. He's doing an amazing job. And Sina Block is going to be talking about working in a state of flow. I've worked with Sina and just adore her. And then there I am, talking about time blocking and time mapping. And, oh yeah. So there's my bio and all my social links. So I'm really excited about this. I hope some of you will join me at the Time Blocking Summit. I hope you'll pick up the templates. I'll put the link for the templates in the comments of the live, and we will see how it goes. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I offer a free 30-minute tidy talk so we can get to know each other, and I'm happy to answer quick questions about the templates and how to use them, because I want you to succeed. So I think that is it for tonight. I thank you all so much for coming and hanging with me tonight. Let's see, let me check some other places and make sure there's no questions. Okay, it doesn't look like there is. So I'm going to sign off and let y'all go back about your business. Good night.